Okay, if you have any problems, just let me know and I'll translate it to Bengali. Fine. Okay, so let's just start. It's already 5. Let me just share the entire screen. I hope it's visible. All right, is it visible? All right. So, all right, today's session is all about object-oriented programming with Python. And I'm not really going into all the depth of it because there is a lot to cover in object-oriented programming itself. I mean, it's a huge thing itself. But what I'm going to cover is what you will need the most in doing data structures and algorithms. As we know that, um, I guess all of you are from MCA, or you might be studying data structures and algorithms with Python. That's why you have attended this session. So with that I'm going to start is that you really need to know the basics of object oriented programming to get start with this data structures, because all the things like stacks and linked list, queues, trees, graphs, all of them require object oriented programming. You simply cannot do it without it. So I assume that all of you know a little bit of Python programming. If you are uh, totally uncomfortable with Python, this workshop is not for you, because I am assuming that you know all the basics like functions and loops and conditionals, operators, and all those stuffs. Let me see the chats. Okay, so let's continue. So the first thing we need to understand what are the outcomes of today's workshop. So today we will be covering all these topics: objects, class, object attributes, class attributes. These are super confusing things that generally students or sometimes even the teachers themselves mess them up, and that becomes a huge issue later on because there will be learning holes. All right, so that's why I'm going to cover these basic things. And if you already know this, then there's no point of staying. You can leave it. Otherwise you can stay, and let's continue with our first topic, which is objects. And before we dive into it, you should know why I am fit for this purpose. Because, well, I have been certified by multiple companies, multiple organizations, just because of Python programming and Git and Linux. I'm also a HackerRank 5-star and CodeWars Q5, and I've worked for multiple MNCs for a very short period of time. For example, Deloitte, JP Morgan, PwC, Cognizant, and all of these MNCs. I worked for them last year. So with that, let's start the first thing: objects. How many of you have at least heard of objects, or what you think object is? Can you let me know in the chats? Just wanted to see. Anyone? What do you think objects are? In very lucid and simple language, what do you think it is? No idea. Object is a real world entity. Yeah, you are right. You are absolutely right. Object is a real world entity. That anything we see in real life are actually objects. Let me give you an example of objects. Let's say we have these bottles. All right. Now don't think about computers and all that stuff. I'll come to that later on. But for the moment, understand that objects are just real world entities. Let's say there are these two bottles. All right. Every object has two things. The first one is properties. Properties. All right. We call these properties as attributes in computer science. We call these properties as attributes. And some of the behaviors. And we call these methods. We call these methods. So let's take this bottle. This bottle has a blue color, the height of this bottle is 20 inches, the weight of this bottle is 100 grams. These are the properties, or as I just said, these are the attributes of these objects. All right, these are the attributes of this object and the behavior of this object. What this object can actually do, what a bottle can do. You can open the cap, you can close the cap. Whatever it can do, the behavior of it is called the method. All right. In this case, again, uh, okay, just a second. Someone came. In this case, let's say this is another bottle. This also has the color red. This has a height of 10 inches, the weight of 50 grams. All right. So these are the properties, or we can say these are the attributes of this object. And again, these are the methods. All right. Let's come to this example. Let's come to this example. Both of them are dogs, right? In this case, just tell me which is the what are the attributes and what are the methods? Just tell me. Anyone? This part is called the attributes or the properties, because the breed of the dog, the size of the ear of the dog, the tail size, the color, these are the properties of this dog. And what are the things that a dog can do? The dog can bark, the dog can walk, the dog can actually wag tail, the dog can drool, right? So these are the things that a dog can do. So whatever it can do, they are the methods, right? They're the methods. And whatever the properties, that is the breed, the size of the ear, the tail size, the color, they're all the attributes, right? They're all the attributes. In this case, again, these are the methods. A dog can do bark, can walk, can wag its tail, can drool, and it has its own size. All right. So just give me a brief example. Let's see what you have understood. Let's say I have a student. All right. So this is a student. Tell me the properties, the attributes or properties, whatever you call it, and the methods. Anyone? Let's see. The attributes and methods of a student. The properties are called the attributes, and whatever the student can do, it is called the method. Any example? Think about it. Think about it. Student role, yeah, right? Actually, a attribute, or is it a method? What is it? Attribute or method? It's an attribute, right? Right. Student here, funny. Attributes, right. So you got it. You got it. Whatever the things of a student, like let's say the student roll number is attribute. I can say the student's address. Address is also an attribute. I can say the marks and attributes. All of them are attributes. But when I talk about methods, it's about what the student can do, the behavior of the student. The student can do these things. The student can study. The student can go to sleep. The student can eat. Whatever it can, it's like English verb. I think most of you know what a verb is in English. So methods are basically verbs, the behaviors of the student, right? And these are nothing but just functions. All right. So methods are kind of functions, but they have a fundamental difference. If somebody says that methods are same as functions, that is absolutely wrong. I'll say that in a moment. Why is it so? But this is the basic classification of attributes and methods. All right. So this is as far as a student goes. Now tell me the attributes of a cat. What are the attributes of cat, and what are the methods of a cat? Attributes and methods. Come on, tell me. Think about it. Think about it. The more you think, the more you understand about object-oriented programming. Because see, object-oriented is too big. But if you do not know the fundamentals of object-oriented programming, you cannot move forward. Yeah, right. Attributes are size, color, and weight also, right? Weight, the body weight. It is also kind of attribute. The properties, I'm talking about the properties. Yeah. Right. Walk, run, method. Right. You're right. So these are called the methods. The cat can actually walk. The cat can run. The cat can eat. Whatever the cat can, whatever, okay, what a cat can, okay, and the properties of a cat includes color, weight, height, all that stuff, right? Height and all that stuff. Okay. So these are the attributes and these are the methods. You got my point. Fine. Now here's the interesting thing. Let's come back to the point. Both of them have a similarity. What is that? Both of them have a similarity. Again, in this case, both of them have a similarity. What is that? Yeah, they might be of different breed. This one is a bulldog. This is a paglia or the street dog, whatever you call. This has a different ear size, this has a different tail size, the color is also different, but there is a similarity between both of them. What is that? What is the common thing between them? Think about it. Yeah, right. They both are dogs. They both are dogs, right? That means they belong, or their type is dog, right? Their type is of dog, or you know, both of them are dogs, right? So they belong to the dog class. Okay, they belong to the dog class. So this is the relationship between objects and classes. There can be multiple objects. There are thousands and hundreds, and like there are so many dogs outside in the street. Each one of them is just an object. But the common thing between all of them is that they belong to this class, or they are of type dog. All right. In this case, they have a similarity. That is, they both, although they have different color, different sizes, different weight, maybe even both of them do things differently. I don't know, but both of them belong to the same class. Both of them are bottle. They belong to this class. Fine. Let's say, okay, tell me, this is a student, this is a teacher, this is a singer, and this is a sports person. What is common between all of them? What is common between all of them? Anyone? All of them are humans. Right, right. All of them are humans. That is what is common in both of them. So I can say, in terms of programming languages, I can say that this is an object that belongs to human class. This is another object that belongs to human class. This is another object that belongs to human class. This is another object that belongs to human class. So there can be multiple objects of a particular class. And sometimes we call objects as instance. So sometimes you will come upon to this word. Sometimes we use the word instance to actually refer to objects. They both mean the same. They both are the same. All right. So nothing to be confused. Fine. So this is all about objects and classes. Cool. Now I want to say something. Assuming that all of you believe in God, or at least you know what God is. I guess most of you know. So with that, I can say all of us are created by God. For those who believe and for those who know that what God is or something like that, all of us have been created by God. Am I right? Am I right? At least that's what the Holy Book says. Cool. We humans are created by gods. All the dogs, all the animals are created by God. So whatever creates us is called the constructor. Whatever creates the object is called the constructor. So let's say this has been created by let's say XYZ private limited. Private limited. This is the company. So who is the constructor here? This is the constructor here. This has been created someone else. Who is the constructor? That guy who created this bottle. Fine. Let's say this has been created by some scientist. Let's say this is not actually a dog. This has been created in a lab, inside a lab by a scientist. Who is the constructor here? The scientist. The scientist is the constructor. Let's say, okay, someone has come. 1 second. Okay. All right. Cool. So what I'm saying is that Let's say some random kid comes, let's say this is a guy, and he takes this bottle and literally smashes it on the floor. The this bottle breaks into multiple pieces. That means this bottle is destroyed. Destroyed. This bottle is destroyed. Let's say due to some old age or some other disease, this dog dies. That means this object has been destroyed. This object has been destroyed. Let's say this student has passed from the school. This object is destroyed. Destroyed. Okay. And the one who destroys is called the, of course, the destructor. I mean, it's not rocket science at all. It's very simple thing, right? Whoever creates the object is called the constructor, and whoever deletes or destroys the object is called the destructor. All right, and the both are basically methods. They both are basically methods. Yeah, right. You heard me right. They both are methods as well. So class is nothing but a combination of constructor, a destructor, the behavior, or as we just said, methods, and properties, or as we call them in computer science, attributes. All right. So enough of theory. Let's go into some code. Okay. All right. Just I think this is on. Okay. Before I jump into coding, have you understood the concept? I just wanted to know. I'm curious about it. Anyone has any doubt? Anyone has any doubt? Nope. Everything clear? In any time, if you face any kind of problem, just let me know. Fine. Just let me know. If you do not understand English properly, you can also ask me. Then I can translate to Hindi or Bengali as you like. Cool. All right. So let's start. How to create a class? Let's create a very simple class. One thing I need to mention is that all of them are optional. All of them are optional. Even if you do not give anything, let's say I just simply say class dog and I do nothing. I just say pass. This is also a valid class. This is also a valid class. This is nothing wrong. Okay. If someone says there is no constructor, there is no destructor, there is no properties, there are no methods, is it a class? Yeah, it can be. There can be class without nothing. All right. So this is also valid. Now let's create something. All right. The most common mistake, please listen to me very carefully. The most common mistake students generally do is they write the properties right here. Right here, they write it like color equals to something, and then this. Okay, someone's coming. Right. So color equals to something, size equals to something. This is wrong. Never ever do it. Why? I'll come to the point later on when I teach you what are class versus object attributes. Fine. I'll discuss this in very detail. Why you should never ever do this mistake. Do not do this here. You need to create the constructor. Just the method I talked about. And this is how you create the constructor. Understand this one. This is the constructor. Underscore, underscore, double underscore, or as we call it, dunderscore. All right. Double underscore is dunderscore. In it. And again, double underscore. This is the constructor. And what is the constructor? The constructor is a method that actually creates the object. Fine. So काम इसी का होता है, object बनाने का जो काम होता है ये इसी का होता है. Fine. This is the object, and now you have to write self. Self. What is self? I'll come to that as well. In fact, I have this one. This slide is dedicated about the self keyword. I'll come to that. Just give me a few minutes. Fine. All right. This init is the constructor. Now, it will have a color, it will have a size, it will have a breed as well. Breed, fine. And this is just a function inside a class. This is just a function inside a class. But one thing to remember, this is mandatory. You have to give it. If you do not give it, then the fun fact is you will not get any error. But when you work with it, you will definitely get an error. So when you create the class, you won't get an error. But when you work with the class, you will definitely get an error. Okay. So make sure to put this self everywhere. And there are cases when you do not need to put this self. I'll show that also. Cool. Now you'll have to say self dot color. This means the color of the dog is whatever the user passed. Whatever the user passed. Just hold on. I'll show you. Self dot size is equal to size. And self dot breed equals to breed. Okay. Let's finish it. Okay. Now let's run this. All cool. How to create the object? We have the dog class. How to create the object? Let's say this is a dog 1. Okay. All you need to do is to say dog, D-O-G, dog. That's it. Just put the name of the class, put double brackets, and you're good to go. Basically, you are calling this method. Although you haven't written like this, that underscore, nothing like that. Just put the name of the class, put 2 brackets, and you are actually calling this function. So what are the things that you need to pass? You need to pass this one, and this one. And what about this? You don't need it. Just put these things. So let's say the color of the dog is orange. The size of the dog is, let's say, 5 foot. And the breed is, let's say, Doberman. And there is another dog. Dog 2. Dog, I give it yellow. The color of the dog is yellow. The size of the dog is 10 foot, or I guess, no, 10 is, I guess, too much. Let's say 7. Cool. And let's call this one bulldog. They both are dogs, but they are different objects. They are both different objects, right? Now, if I run this one, we're done. You can check. Dog 1 dot color. Before I show the output, you tell me the output. Come on. Before I show the output, you tell me the output. What will be the color of the dog 1? Orange, right? Very good. Why? Because now let me explain this in little bit of Hindi, because this might be confusing, and I'll also explain this in Bengali as well. What I'm saying is that this dot, this full stop, what you're saying, is called the membership operator. এটা মানে হচ্ছে dog 1 এর color কি, dog 1 এর color কি, ঠিক আছে? इसका मतलब है dog 1 का color क्या है? That is the meaning of this dot. Whenever you see this dot, it means what is the color of the dog 1. Okay, I am talking about the color of the dog 1. When I say dog 1 dot size of dog 1, or simply if I write this in English, give me dog 1's size. That's what this means basically. Fine. Now if I just want to print this one, print dog 1 dot, let's say, breed. Run this one. As you can see, this is what we get. How? Self dot breed is equals to breed. इसका मतलब क्या? Dog 1 का breed जो हमने पास किया है यहाँ पे वही होगा. जैसे कि अगर यहाँ पे मैंने डोबरमैन दिया तो ये भी डोबरमैन हो जाएगा. यहाँ पे अगर मैंने बुलडॉग दिया तो ये भी बुलडॉग हो जाएगा. ठीक है, कुछ भी मैं यहाँ पे दूं यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. ठीक है, so that's how we work with this one. Let's say I want to access the color, let's say the size of dog 2. What will I say? I want to access the size of dog 2. What will I say? Write this in the comment. Come on. Anyone? How to access it? Dog 2 dot size. Perfect. Perfect. Doc2 dot size, right? So doc2 dot size. Right. Now, what people generally do is a very bad mistake. Let's say I put something in here. Let's say I say, what can I say? What else a dog has? Let's say, okay, name of the dog. Fine. So I can say name equals to Rocky. This is a very bad mistake. Why? Look into this. If I do something like this, then dog1 dot name will give me Rocky. Also, dog2's name is also Rocky. So whenever you create an object, they will share the same property. Fine. So whatever you put in here will be shared by all the objects. Be it dog1, be it dog2, be it dog3, whatever I say. Let's say I create something like dog3 equals to dog. I put something else. Let's say red dog and 10 and I don't know, I mean, golden retriever, ITR, whatever. Let's make this dog3. Right? Okay, now if I access dog3's name, what will the output? Again, Rocky. So this is the worst mistake. Never ever do this one. Okay, not here, because whenever you put something in here, this will be shared by this one, and this one. Fine. And this has a special name. These are not the attributes. These are not the attributes. These are called the class attributes. These are not the normal attributes. So never do this one. Fine. So these are the properties of the dog. And I can even change it. Let's say I want to change dog3's color. So dog3 dot color equals, so let's say I put green. I haven't seen a green dog, but okay, whatever. Yeah. Dog3's color is green. I just changed it. Cool. Now if I want to access this one, I will just say dog3 dot color. And what we'll get? We just print it here and here. As you can see, it was previously red, and once I changed this one, it became green. Yeah, that's how we change the properties. That's how you change the properties of a particular object using this operator. Is this clear to all of you? Now we'll move on to the methods part. Is this clear, guys? Just wanted to see. Okay. Anyone having any problem regarding this one? This is very simple thing. Okay. And this accessing is very important, because most of the time we won't let the user access the property directly. Why? We'll come to that later. But for now, understand that this is not the right way to access or update something. This is not the right way to access something. Cool. Sometimes we won't allow the user do such things inside a software system. Cool. Now let's create some of the methods. How to create a method? Okay, this is my constructor. Now there is something called the destructor as well. Def del. This is my destructor. The destructor takes whatever you give it. Let's say destructor self. That's it. Whenever, see, let me draw this for you. Yeah. So when your computer is actually working, your Python programming is running. This is your RAM. Fine. Whenever you create an object, let's say dog1. Fine. This is existing here. Okay. Now, once your job is done, in C or C++, you actually had to manually clear this. Using this function called free. You actually had to use this function free to free this one. But in modern programming languages like Python, Java. In fact, I guess C++ also has a garbage collector as far as I know. Ruby, all of them do this automatically. They simply remove the object which you do not require using something called GC, whose full form is garbage collector. And as the name implies, it removes garbage variables. That's why you cannot use this free method, because it is already done for you. Can I do it manually? Yeah, you can do it, but why should you do it? I mean, there's no point. You can do it manually, but you shouldn't. How to do it manually? I'll show that in a moment. But whenever the task is over, this will be removed by the garbage collector. Cool. And that particular garbage collector is actually called by the destructor. This guy is called by this guy. This calls the GC and says that, hey, remove this one. This is the task of the destructor, to destroy things or to free the memory. Because if you keep on adding objects, this and this and this and this and this will actually take a lot of your RAM unnecessarily. काम हो गया तो निकाल दो. Why should you keep this inside your RAM? There's no point, right? That's what the garbage collector does. Am I clear? This is the task of the destructor. Someone's coming. Is the work of the garbage collector clear? That's what the garbage collector does. And this destructor calls the garbage collector. And this is invisible to your eyes. This is actually happening behind the scenes. But this is invisible to you. Now let me make it visible to you. I can say self dot name, comma, is deleted. Now see what happens. I'll do one trick. See, this is my dog one. Dog one is now having this object, right? This guy. Now if I keep the variable name same, again dog one is equals to some other object. This guy has a red color. 10 is a bulldog. See, the name is same, the object name is same. So you definitely have to remove this one and then put this thing. Am I right? You cannot keep both the things at the same place. You have to remove this one first, and that task is done by the garbage collector. Now see what happens. Now let me just put a message here also. Print self dot. I'm sorry. This color is created because constructor creates, destructor deletes. Now if I run this one, see what happens. Orange is created, right? And the order is different because it is beyond the scope. But what is important is this: orange is created, then the red is also created. But red cannot be put directly here because it already contains the orange dog. So first to remove it, first to delete it, the orange dog is deleted then. Okay. First the orange dog is created, then the red dog is created here. Cool. But you cannot put the red dog directly. You have to delete the orange dog. For that purpose, you have to call this destructor. And this always happens, whether or not you see this. It always happens. Is this clear? The constructor and the destructor, the working of the garbage collector. Is this clear? Should I move forward? Guys? Okay. Fine. So this is how this works. Now let's just remove this one, otherwise this will be irritating, or all the outputs will be coming in this way. So just remove this one. Fine. Now let's create some other methods. Let's say a dog can eat. So a dog can eat. And you must put this one, otherwise there will be a blunder. Okay. Dog eat. I'll print something. Print self dot color dog is eating. And I can even take some food here. Let's say food. I can put it here. Eating, whatever the thing you pass here. Food. Now see what happens. Let's remove this one as well. Now if I say dog1 dot eat, and you have to give this food. So let's say I put pizza. Let's say I give pizza. Now when I run this one, oh damn, there's a typo. Food, right? All right, you can see orange dog is eating pizza. So this function, this method is calling out. This method is being called, right? So this is how you create a method, you call it. Let's create another method. Okay, just someone tell me in the chat section how to create a sleep method. Write it, come on. How to create a sleep method. Fast, come on, write it. Let's see how many of you have understood this concept. A dog sleeps, fine. I write a method for this one. And till then, let me create some other methods as well. Other than this, the dog can also, just move. The dog can move, or the dog can actually walk. Dog can walk. This is mandatory, you have to put this. And just after this, I'm going to come to the point why this self is so important. What if you don't give it? I'll come to that. Self dot color dog is walking. Cool. All right. How to call this one? Dog1 dot what? Walk. And give nothing, because this is not important. Don't put anything here. Just call it. See what happens. Orange dog is walking. So that's it. That's how you call functions. Yeah, coming to that, finally. Just in a second, coming to that. Def sleep, self sleeping away. Yeah, that is another alternative choice. The dog sleeps for certain hours. Yeah, okay. That is also an alternating choice. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. Cool. One important thing. This and the destructor are called automatically. And these things you have to call it manually. Okay. Now let's solve this mystery of this self. Why do you need self? But for that, I'm going to put something like this. All of you must know about list. Python list. I'm talking about Python list. You know this thing? Python list? Most people have used this one. Is self and this, right? Self and this works almost the same. Self and this you're talking about Java and C++, right? Because I have seen using this in Java. Right? They both are the same. All right. Now this is a list. Whenever I'm saying demo.append, what do I mean? List is unhashable. Yeah, you are right. List is unhashable. Right. But what I'm trying to say is this. Whenever you do this one, demo.append, what happens? This 10 goes here, right? Whenever I say demo.append 20, demo.append 30. What is happening here? If I print this demo, what will we get? 10, 20, 30. So you can see this dot. What did I tell you? Dot is a membership operator. Demos append method is being called. Okay. Demos append method is being called. And there is also self associated here. The other way of calling this is like this. If I do something like this, let's say, I don't give it. I say list dot append, and then I give something like this. Let's say demo, comma, 40. Will this work? Let's see. Sometimes this will not. Okay. There is a typo here. Let's see, it's working. So it's working. Both are the same. Why is it so? Let's understand in detail. Why is it happening? So see why this is self keyword. So this is some object. This object has some method, and that method at the time of declaring it was like this: def blah 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 blah, and here there was something called self. So that means that this method is expecting an object. It is expecting an object. Okay. So now you will say, but bro, I didn't put anything here. I didn't put anything here. Wow, how did this happen? Well, whenever you say object dot do something, this object automatically goes here. Fine. You don't need to put it manually. It just goes automatically. Doing this and this both are same. This means that there is some class XYZ. This class has a method called do something blah blah, and this expects a self. Now there are two ways to call it. Either you do this one, that XYZ का जो method है, XYZ का method के अंदर आप इस object को pass कर दो. That is the first way. And the second way is simple, to write something like this. And this automatically goes in here. The choice is yours. Obviously we will use this one because this is short one. That is I guess most common reason we use this one. We can use this one also. No issues, you can do it. But who will do that? Right? Who will do that? Suppose I'm talking about list, right? This is my list. Now, there is a class called list because we know that in Python, everything is an object. Everything, a list, a tuple, a dictionary, whatever you call it, everything is an object. Inside this class, we have a method. We have a method called append, which expects two things. The first one is self, and the second one is the data you put in. Now there are two, okay, and there can be anything written inside. I'm not going to do that. There are two ways of calling it. First, you create an object. You create an object of list type, or you can also create this like this one. Both are the same, doesn't really matter. So let's say this is the object, and now I say x dot append 10. This is also same. And if I say list dot, यानी कि लिस्ट के अंदर, लिस्टेर मध्य, ठीक है, list dot append, pass the data because it is expecting the data first. So what is the I'm sorry, it is expecting the object first. What is the object here? This guy is the object, pass it, and then it is expecting the data. What is the data? 10. Both are the same. So self, this self keyword essentially means referring to itself. Okay, you can do it either ways. Both are the same. The concept is clear regarding the self object. What is self? You guys understood? Others? Please respond. Because well, this is an interactive class. If you do not respond, I won't understand that. Okay. Is self referring to the current object? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is referring to the current object. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. Now moving on to the next topic here. Private properties. This is another big chunk of a thing that you need to understand. But first, just give me few minutes, I'll be back. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Okay. What I was saying is that private properties. Just before few slides, I've explained that it is not really good that you can access these properties and change whenever you want to. Like if I say dog1 dot let's say breed equals to something else, maybe whatever, this is acceptable. This should not be acceptable, but this is acceptable. And this is a bad thing. This is actually a bad thing. If I do this and if I say what is the dog's, let's say I say dog one dot breed. If I simply say this, see what will you get? See, I get this random string. It should not be accessed. Otherwise, say there is a myth that, well, it is for protecting your software, it is for hiding and keeping secrets, nothing like that. It is for removing bugs, okay, to hide unnecessary details because they are unnecessary, right? They are not to be modified. Let's say your date of birth. Will you change the date of birth whenever you need to? Like my date of birth is 2011-2000. Some random guy comes and says, no, the date is, let's say, 15th, let's say April 2050. Should I let them, should I do this? No, because once this is fixed, the roll number is fixed, this admission date is fixed, you cannot change that. Now coming to the age part, what happens if you let me access? Well, sometimes it's okay. Like let's say I see student dot age, someone says it's 70 years. I mean that's not really cool, right? I mean, yeah, it possibly can, but I'm talking about school students. A school student cannot be of 70 years old, right? That's invalid. But we can still do it to prevent users or even programmers to do these things and even face difficulties, because these are unnecessary. Either they have to be accessed by the methods or they shouldn't be accessed at all. So we are restricting the access. That's when private properties or private, as we call, attributes come into the play. Private, no one can access it except the methods. Let me just show you in practice what this means. Let's say size can increase, breed can never increase, right? So let me make this private. To make private, all you need to do is to put two underscores. What? Two underscores. _1, _2. And you cannot access this one. I'll show you. You cannot access this one, even if you try to. Let me just remove all of this. And if I try to access this one, you know what I'll get? Dog object has no attribute breed. It will not let me access because this is a private variable. And even if you say कि चलो ठीक है सामने दो अंडरस्कोर लगा है मैं भी दो देता हूँ underscore, even if you do this, you will see the same error. Dog object has no attribute breed. Although it has, it will not let you access it outside of the class. Okay, because this shouldn't change. I mean, let's say you see a Doberman and after 5 days it becomes a bulldog. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, right? So this is the reason behind it. Coming to the size of the dog, it can change. Like let's say the dog is getting older, the size will increase, right? It can increase, but I shouldn't let someone do this. Right? Dog one dot, let's say size. Let's see if I can access. I can say like 1000 and so much. Should I let it access? Tell me, should I let it access? No, this is absurd. This should not be accessed like this way. For that purpose, we are going to use something called the, tell me, Java guys, anyone from Java background, you must have heard about this one. Getters and setters. Getters and setters. Have you ever heard of this one? So getter means getting the data. Setter means setting the data. You cannot access it directly. You cannot modify it directly. You have to use getters and setters. Otherwise, you cannot do these things. Fine. Now let's say I say something like this. That def. Okay, this is one example of getter. Get or write whatever you want to write. Okay, I'm just putting this name. Get color. So you're getting the color of the dog, right? Or let's say get breed. Simply say self dot double underscore, because it's a private variable, write the breed. Now understand this very carefully. If you directly try to do something like this, that dog1 dot breed, you will get an error. You'll get an error. But you can also get it using this way. Get breed function, a method. Now you can get it. You see. So I won't let you access it directly, but you can access it using the methods, because whatever methods you write, it can actually access any private or any public variable inside the class. You cannot access it directly. Cool. Okay. Now let's say I want to change the size. I cannot access it directly. I have to make a getter and a setter. Let's say I make a getter first. If get, and I say whatever, right, let's say write size. Get size, self. Print, simple. Just write self dot size. It's that simple. Now I can access it, but indirectly, not directly. Okay. Now if I say get size, and here you go, you can get it. I cannot modify it, because if I try to, this is a private variable, I'll get an error. I'll get an error if I do something like this, dog1 dot size, and do whatever you want to, you will get an error. And this won't actually happen. Okay. Oh, one second. Oh, I have missed one important point. Good one. Just hold on. I'll come to that. But we need to create a setter as well. Setter. This is called a setter. Okay. Set size. Self. And you put some size here. If size more than 10, let's say 15, I'll return an error. Value error. I'll give you an error. Too large. If size less than, let's say 2, again raise value error. Too small. Both are incorrect, right? Too small. And then otherwise, set it self dot size is equals to whatever the size provided. That way I can set it indirectly. Okay. Run this one. I get 5. Now if I say dog1 dot set size, and I put something, let's say 100, it will give an immediate error. Too large. So this is not acceptable. If I give something like -1, let's say -1, this is also not acceptable. Too small. Only if I give between them the range, let's say I say 7, all good. It's done. Now if I try to get the size once again, see, it's working. So that's how you use getters and setters. Is that clear? guys. Okay, cool. Going to the, okay, we have another 1 hour left. Let's see how much we can cover. We will remove all the unnecessary things that we do not need in data structures algorithms. Okay, we'll be removing all of it, because they are not required for you. Cool. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that, let's say, let's say this dog has no address. Am I right? This dog has no address. So if you try to say something dog1 dot address, you get an immediate error. You will see dog object has no attribute address. But if I do something like this, dog address equals to, let's say, Mumbai. This is correct. This is correct. Okay. This is absolute. Now if you try to get the access, dog1 dot address, this is absolutely correct, and you will get Mumbai. Okay. So you can add a property whenever you want to. No one's stopping you from that. No one's stopping you. You can add a property whenever. If I want to say dog1 dot phone number, I can put anything I want to. Whatever. There's a phone number. I can access it as well. If a dog has no property, but if you want to add it, you can do it. No one's stopping you. Okay. See, it works. One thing to be noted. Okay. Don't think that you can access it just by saying, let's say, if I say something like this, dog1 dot size equal to 10,000. You're right. It's working. It's working. Dog1 dot size. If I access this, I'll get 10,000 as well. But this size is not the same size as this one. This is another thing. This is another thing. You want to see? See. I can access a private. Okay, never do this. This is actually not good, but I'm going to do it anyways. Dog1 dot underscore, one single underscore. Give the class name. What is the class name? Dog. DOG. Double underscore size. This is the actual size of the dog. Okay. Which is actually 5. See, it has not changed. The original size has not changed. Cool. But this one is not the actual size. This is something else. Okay. This is the actual size. Okay. Okay, someone's coming. Same for function. No, private functions are not possible. Private functions are not here in Python. Okay. It is only possible for attributes. There are no private functions. In fact, there are no concepts of private and protected and all that stuff, especially in Python. But in the recent years, there is a private underscore stuff only done for the attributes. Okay. You cannot do it for the functions. So this is how it works. Cool. So these are the methods. This is called the getter, to get the data indirectly, not directly. And this is the setter, to set the data indirectly, not directly. Why? Because here you can put multiple check. If size more than 15, return error. If size less than 2, return error. Otherwise, only set the size. So for these purposes, private variables are very useful. Okay. Hope you understood it. Private properties. And I'll go to further details as well. Okay. Cool. Cool. Now, the most important part, class versus object attributes. Let's say, okay, first understand it reality. Okay. A real life situation. This is one guy, this is another guy, this is another guy. His name is Siddhartha, his name is Ajay, and his name is Ravi. And this guy is a reporter. Let's say media reporter. This guy asks the same question to this one, and this one. Beta, tell me your roll number and total number of students in your school. Okay. Not school, class. Let's say class. Classroom. Okay, classroom. How many students are in your class? Okay. So Ravi will say, let's say, sir, my roll number is 32 and there are total 3 students inside our class. Ajay will say, my roll number is 60 and there are 3 people studying in classroom. Siddhartha will say, my roll number is 43, and there are 3 people studying in the classroom. See, this number is not changing. This number is same for all. Just like that previous example I have shown you, the name is not changing. So those things are called class properties or attributes. Okay, this is called the class attributes. But these things are changing according to the object. Ravi's roll number is different, Ajay's roll number is different, Siddhartha's roll number is different. It is changing with the object. These properties are called object properties or object attributes, just like all of these things. They are object properties. Object properties. But whenever I do something like this, this is my class attribute. This will not change for any of the dog object. Dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, dog 4, or dog whatever. This will not change. This is called the class property or the class attribute, and this is a major mistake students make. That's why I'm pointing this out. Really important. This is really important. Okay. So now let's see an example of the class attributes. Cool. Let's make another class. Class student. Count equals to, currently it's 0. Okay. Def init the constructor. I have to put in self and the name of the student, and let's say the roll number. Okay, cool. Actually I'm making this example, the same example. Okay, I'll show you what happens. Self dot name is equal to name. Self dot roll is equals to roll. And most importantly, student dot count plus equals to 1. So every time an object is created, this will increase. What I'm saying, class, and this is my class attribute. Okay, so what I'm saying कि जो क्लास का जो काउंट वेरिएबल है उसको मैं 1 से बढ़ा दूंगा. जब भी मैं कोई ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करूंगा, हर बार मैं इस स्टूडेंट क्लास के इस काउंट वेरिएबल को 1 से बढ़ा दूंगा. So now this is 0. Whenever I create a student, this will become 1. I'll show you. Let's say this is my Siddhartha. Okay, let's say S1, student 1, and I say student. First, I have to give the name and the roll number. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll number is, let's say 34. There is S2. This is also a student, and this is Ajay, and his roll number is 50. And then there is S2 dot S3 equals to student. This is my Ravi, and his roll number is, let's say 40. Cool up to this point. If I run this, all cool. Till now, all cool. But now if I try to access how many students are there in the class, I ask S1, beta, tell me how many students in your class. I get 3. If I ask S2, how many students are in your class, I'll get 3. If I say S3, tell me how many students in your class, again 3. So this property is shared by all of them, and whenever a new student is created, this is increased by 1, and this is called the class attribute. Whatever you declare here is the class attribute, and whatever you declare here, it is called the object attribute. So this will keep changing. Now if I say, hey S3, tell me your roll number, S3 will say my roll number is 40. But whenever I say S3, tell me how many students, it will give me 3. This number will keep on changing. This will not. Okay, I hope you understand the concept. All good and fine. What will happen if we assign S3 dot count equal to 0? Good point. What actually will happen is that, look at this. Very, very good question. So this is my count. which is currently 3, right? That example, I'm talking about the example. And this guy, my S3, whenever I say S3.count, it is actually pointing to this one. But if I say something like this, that S3.count equals to let's say 100 or whatever you put in, this is different, this is different. Okay, this is entirely two things different. So the original value will not change. In fact, this is a new property, just like dog.address equals to whatever, let's say Mumbai. It was not there, but suddenly it comes into the object. The same thing happens here also. Okay, so original count will not change. It will not be affected in any way. Let me show you this one. Very good question. If I say S3.count, let's make it 100. Let's make it 100 or whatever you want to say. If I do this is correct, not a problem. Even if I access this, I'll get 1000. S3.count, I'll get 1000, obviously. Cool. But that value is not changed. I can show it to you. S2.count. Look at this. It's still 3. It is still 3. It has not changed. You want to show? Okay, let me show you another thing. If I directly access, this is indirectly accessing. If I directly access, how will I access? Student.count. This is how it directly access the class attribute. So it is still 3. But now if I change equals to 1000, this will affect all of it because I'm actually changing this one. I'm not directly or indirectly, I'm doing it directly. Okay. If I do this, now see what happens. I do this one, it's all cool and fine. Now if I access S2.count, what will I get? 3 or 10,000? Of course 10,000, because I have changed it. Look at this one. Okay, so this is how you change it. Now if I do not want someone to change this, what will I do? What is the solution? Someone, if want to know, okay, if student count in main function, there is no main function in Python. There is no concept of main function in Python, right? Underscore Python. Okay, count, right? If we want to know the count from S3 student, that is possible. Why is it not possible? S3.count, ask it, you will get it. Private, yeah, right, you are right. Private value. Just make it private. Cool. I'm done. Cool. You cannot access it. Now it's private variable. But very importantly, this is not a private object attribute. This is a private class attribute. Getting the point? Now if I try to do something like this, let's say S3.count. If I do something like this, boom, you get error. There is no count. There is no count. The same thing. But there's a problem. There's a problem. The problem is, if I do something like this, def get count, the same thing. Will I get this? Will I get this? Self dot what? Self dot underscore count. Can I get this? Will this work? Let's say get count. Not working. It's not working. Now you might say, all right, remove the self, give me the student. So I'm directly accessing student.count. Can I do it? Same error. You cannot access this. To access this, you will require something known as the class method. There are 4 types of method, guys. There are 4 types of whatever we have seen till now. These are called the object method. The sleep, the work, the eat, the whatever we have seen. Object methods. There is something called the abstract methods. It is related with the inheritance part. I'm not going into it. There is something called the static method. I'll cover it a little bit. And this is called the class methods. For data structure algorithm, you need this one. You need this one. You do not need this. You do not need this. You do not need this. The only thing you need is this one. Object. The object method. So tell me the last name of a student depends on the object. That means this is the object method. Whatever depends on the object, it's object. Class method. Tell me the total number of objects of a class, because it is accessing the class variable. It is a class method. Let me show you. Let me show you what that means. I'll just remove this one. New thing. I don't know if you have seen this or not. Just look at this. Def get count. Do not put self. Do not put self. Write CLS or whatever you want to say, but just do this one. CLS, okay? But this is what is accepted. CLS. CLS stand for class. Okay. Return CLS dot count, and above this one, at the rate class method. Now this can actually access the class, class variable. This can actually access. This is working like self, but not for the object, for the class. For the class. Now, if I say something like this, the student dot get count. See what happens. Okay. Still facing problem, I guess. I guess there's some typo here. Hope it's not working for some reason. I don't know. But what I was saying is that okay, just okay. Some reason I don't know. This version of Python using 3.8, I guess. I don't know why it's not working. Okay. But still, for accessing, just remember this one thing. Whenever you access the property of an object, use object method. Best one. Whenever you access the property of a class, use class method. Never ever interchange both of these things. Okay, never ever do this. Otherwise, you will get a bug in your system. You will get a bug in your system. Now, if I do this one, see, I'm waiting. This is called the class method. Okay, and then look why the private variable is not working. I'll let you guys know in the group as well. Okay, and there is something another. Okay, that is called the static method. See, look at this one. Object method is concerned with object. Class method is concerned with the class. Static method, इसको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. Okay, this doesn't care about the class. This doesn't care about the object. This doesn't care about anything. So there is no meaning of giving CLS or self. Don't give anything. It will still work. It will still work. Like for example, def add two numbers, lol, x and y. Don't give anything, no class, no self, it will still work. This is called the static method. Okay. Return x plus y. If I do this, and how to call static method? You can call it through the class. First thing, student dot see, add two numbers. Okay. Passing 5 and 10. It's working. So this static method does not depend on any object or even the class. Okay. This class method depends only on the class, not on the object. And this object method only depends on the object. You do not need these two, but you need this one. Okay. So understand this thing properly. It's a class variable. Yeah, right. It's a class variable, right? Yeah. You're talking about this one, right? Count. Yeah, it is a class variable, right? And what about accessing this through something object? Let's say s2 dot two numbers. You can still do that. See, it's still working. You can do anything, but you do not need this, so I'm just removing this. Okay, cool enough. Finally, all of these are clear. Now we are going to actually implement a stack data structure. Oof, finally, we're actually going to implement a stack. But before implementing a stack, we need to understand what is a stack. Jumping into that, first I want to know if you understood the basics. You don't need to master it. You don't need to understand, completely the 100%. But at least did you understood a little bit of it, the basics? Yeah, yeah. Just ask. Just ask. Yeah, you can call the static method using the object Pritijit. I just shown. Okay, throw me any questions if you have. If I can answer, I will. Okay. All right. So, how many of you have heard about stack? Can we restrict add attribute in object? Okay, so you want to say that yeah, you can do that. You can do that using something called the data classes. You can make it immutable. So that's what you want, right? Immutable. You cannot change anything. You cannot add anything. You cannot do anything. Yeah, you can do it. You can actually do it, but that is a little bit complicated stuff. So I'm not going into that. But you can actually do it using something called the data class. Use it, and you can make your object immutable. And there are other ways as well. Okay. So before that, everyone knows stack, or do you need any introduction about it? I know many of you are from physics background, chemistry background, maybe even biology, maybe even BCom, I guess. So I think you guys need a little bit of introduction about stack, right? So first I'm going to give that. Right. Okay. So what is a stack? What is a stack? Let's understand the real life view. So this is a bus. I'm talking about the Kolkata's bus, especially. So in a row, 3 person can sit. Okay. This is a third guy, and this is the window. Okay, this is the window. All the trees and all, this is the window. This is the middle guy, this is the first guy. Now let's say this guy wants to go out. Can he directly go? I mean, let's say there is no space here. No space. No, he cannot. Cannot. First of all, this will go. Then this guy will shift here. Then only this guy can go out of the bus. Am I right? This is called the stack data structure. Whoever entered the bus, whoever is the last, he has to go out first. He has to go out first. Otherwise, this guy cannot go out. This guy cannot go out. Same thing happens here. If I don't move, this guy cannot move. This guy cannot move. Okay. So this is called the stack data structure. And the last guy sitting, this one, is called the top. It's called the top. Okay. Similarly, you can visualize something like this: a stack of books. Let's say this is my book rack. This is made of steel. Okay, this is made of steel, and there are a lot of books here. First book, second book, third book. What is the algorithm to take out this third book? I want this one. What should I do? Keep this one out, and then only get this one. All right. So now this is how a stack works. And another thing, whenever you put something, it is called push. Whenever you take out something, it is called pop. Am I cool? Sounds cool? Push and pop. That's what you need. And fortunately, Python has already given us this method, so we don't have to work really hard to implement a stack. It's super easy to do. Stack is essentially an array or a list. Let's say this is my list. Okay, this is my list. But only two things can happen. How to insert into this list? let's say this list is my X. How to insert into this? Come on, tell me. X dot append. Append means put to the last. So 10. Okay. X dot append 20. Put to the last. This is exactly working like a stack. Like a stack. It is putting values in the last. Okay. X dot append 30. Now if I want this out, what will I say? I'll take this out. So pop, right? And Python already has a pop function. So I'll just say x dot pop. I'll get 30. Again, x dot pop. I'll get 20. Again, x dot pop, I'll get 10. So we already have a kind of stack, but there is a problem. Generally speaking, stack has a size associated with it, right? If you have done C, you might know this, that a stack has a size, generally speaking. But in Python list, you can add as many objects as you want to, right? A list can be of many, I can put multiple values inside this one. Let's say this is my list. This is my list. I can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can go on and on and on for infinity. Not infinity well, but too far I can go. The size of the list will be humongous. Okay, it will keep on increasing, but this should not be allowed in a stack. Okay, if I say the stack has a size of 5, I can put 10, I can put 20, I can put 30, 40, and 50. Now if I try to put something inside this, I'll get an error, and it will say stack overflow. Stack overflow. Because the size is exhausted, man. You can only put 5 elements inside this. You cannot put 6 elements or more than that. You cannot do that. Okay. So now if I try to push something, let's say 100, I'll get an instant error. I cannot do this. Stack overflow error. This is the same Stack Overflow page you visit every day when searching for bugs. We all know, right? But let's say there are no values. This list is completely empty. And now, if you want to take something out, let's say I want to pop something, you will get an error called stack underflow. Again, you do not have anything to remove. How will you remove something if you do not have anything, right? So these are the very common things that you need to understand. Thanks to Python, it has already given us pop and append. Okay. So this basically append is basically push, and this pop is pop. That's it. We'll just use it. Stack data structure looks like this. I put 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now stop. If you give me more, I'll give you an error. There is a limit quota. There is a limit quota. So this is how you push. And now when I pop, I'll get 50. Again pop 40. Again pop 30. Again 20 and 20, 10. Okay, I'll get this way. So push and pop. Is the concept clear? You cannot take this from here. You cannot do this. You can only take out the data from the end. You cannot do this thing. Cool? Are we cool? Guys, I know it's getting a little bit long, but I want you guys to understand the things. Fine. That's what I am emphasizing on. Otherwise, there are people who can cover it like in 10-15 minutes. This will be over. But I want to show. Now, before jumping to the actual implementation, you might think that why the hell should I learn something like this? Why? Well, first, there are software perspectives, many software perspectives. Back button, have you ever seen a back button on the, browsers or file managers? You have used it, back button or forward button, the undo button and redo button on PPTs, words, editing videos, music, etc. All of this work on a stack. They work on a stack. Okay. All of them. Understood. Now let's say, in fact, even this one, let me show you. A, B, C, D, E. Or let me put this way. Let me create a fresh new page. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Undo, 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 undo. So what this is? This is pop, nothing else. This is pop. All right. This is pop. If I say redo, see what this is? Push. Push and pop is all the game about push and pop. This redo, this undo and redo button works on stack. You see, like I do something X, Y, and Z. This is the last one. So this will go first. See, gone. This is the second last one, it will go. This is the third last one, go. See, it's a stack. So we can see this back button and undo button, also redo and forward button, they use stack. Very simple example. And other than this one, your computer uses stack, rigorously for handling signals like interrupts or doing function calls. All of these require stack. You cannot do this without a stack. And this part is covered extensively in computer organization architecture. It's true. The people who have, okay, just a second. The people who have already studied computer organization thoroughly, or my previous students, they know all of this, right? Interrupts, function calls, and all of these things. All of the ex-students I've taught them. So this is the software perspective of learning a stack. It is super important, right? So now let's make a stack. Let's make a stack. You need to understand two things. How to limit this? How to limit this? I'll have two variables. Empty. Currently, what is the size of empty, guys? Nothing. Like all of them are full, right? And what is the size of full? 5. Let's say I remove this one. Now tell me what is the size? Empty becomes 1 because there is one empty cell. And full becomes 4 because 1 is gone. There are only 4 full elements, right? Now if I remove this one, what happens if I remove this one? There are 2 empty cells and there are 3 full cells. You're getting the point? So we need this one. We need both of them, empty and full. Cool? Are we cool with this one? 2 and 3. Now let's say I put something like this. Let's say I put 40. What will happen? What will happen here? Empty will become 1 because there is only 1 empty cell. Full will become 4 once again because there are 4 full cells. Okay? So these variables we are going to use. And if you want a dynamic stack that you can add and add and add and add, it's up to you. Okay? It's up to you. And yeah, of course, you need a list. You need a list because ultimately you are going to store data, right? So you need a list. So now, stack is basically an object which has 3 attributes. The array, the empty, and the full. These are the attributes. Tell me the methods. Push, pop, and display. That's all you need. Okay, so these are my properties, these are my methods. That's all I need. Let's implement. Come on. Okay, you guys understood the stack concept? Just wanted to make sure that you guys understood. Please respond, guys. Okay, cool. Okay, let's start. Let's create a stack object. Okay, see, this is the reason I told you that object oriented is required. Otherwise, you cannot implement. Class stack. Okay, and I say array equals to this. Am I going right? No, this is a class variable. Come on, you need a constructor for that. Def init, and you have to put in self. That's currently that's all you need. You need 3 things: self dot array, which is basically a list, and self dot empty is equals to empty या फिर length gth, and this length will be provided by the user. मतलब array का size कितना है. Okay, so let's say whatever the user puts in GTH. Cool. Because in the starting, you see, all of them will be empty. Starting में तो कोई data नहीं होगा ना, तो all of them will be empty. So what is the total number of empty cells? The length of the array. Simple. That's it. Okay. So now there is another thing. Self.full. In the beginning, none of them are full, so it's 0. Cool. Okay, so these are the attributes. Cool. Now you need two methods specifically. Okay, three methods. What are them? The first one is called the push, self, and the data what you want to put in. The data. Let me just. I'll come to this. Def pop. You need this one also. It does not take anything else. Dot. And you need something called the display to view things. Okay. Def display. You take the self one, and boom, you're done. Just implement this function. Your stack is ready. Congratulations, you are done. Just do this thing. If empty, sorry, if self dot empty is equal 0, that means if none of the cells are empty. So what happens? None of the cells are empty, and you are trying to push data. There are no empty cells. You are trying to push data. What happens? You will get a stack overflow error. So raise. You can raise any error, but I'm using this one, memory error. And I'll say stack overflow. Then that's it. Otherwise, now you put else or you don't put else. It's of you. I won't put else. Okay, I won't put else. I'll just write it just simply. Because anyways, this will crash your program if there's something like this. This will crash your program. This will never come to this point. Okay. So I write self.array.append. हो गया. That's it. This is my list. .append. Push it, right? Push what? The data. Are done. That's all you need. But still, one thing you need to understand. Once you have pushed it, you need to do two things. Self.empty. What? Minus equals to 1. Because एक cell पूरा भर गया. Okay. One cell is done. One cell is completed. You know, you have pushed another data. So just empty minus 1 and self.full plus equals to 1. Because one cell has been pulled. So that's why full plus 1. Okay. This part is clear or not? Let me see. Any doubts? If there are any kind of doubts, I'll just solve it on the board. Just say me. Any doubts, or is it clear till now? No doubts. Okay. No doubts. Okay, right? So should I just go on? Actually, this becomes a little bit confusing. Like someone says no and someone says yes. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is all about it. Now in the pop section, what do you need to do? If there are no data, what are you going to pop? Nothing. So if self.full equal 0, in the beginning all of them are empty. None of them are full, right? This is the case, right? None of them are full. So why should I pop it? Because there's nothing to pop, right? How can I pop it? I cannot pop anything. So I'll simply say raise memory error. I'll say stack underflow. Stack underflow. And I'm done. And then do the same thing. But there's a problem. I need to pop. Whenever I'm popping, I have to return the value. And once I return, I cannot come back. Fine. So the returning, बाद में, first you have to decrement and increment the things. Cool. So self dot full, because one cell has been emptied. One cell has been emptied. Okay, so just decrease it. Self dot empty. One cell has been emptied. So just increase it. Done. And finally, return self dot array. And thanks to Python, pop is already there. We're done. That's all you need. Pop done. Can I check self dot full equal length? You can try out different logic. Say logic can differ. All right. Whatever I'm writing, you can write something else. If it works, you are done. Yeah, cool. You can check anything. There can be multiple algorithms for doing the same thing, right? Someone may be, मतलब कोई चीनी बाद में डालता है, कोई चीनी पहले डालता है, but ultimately चीनी तो डालता है ना. So that's the point. Do whatever you want to. If it's working, you're good to go. I'm not checking all those algorithms right now because currently I'm in a pressure of time. I need to complete this by 7. So just working fast. So I need to display. What to say? See, if I simply do this, that for I in self.array, self.array. If I do this will actually give me 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I don't want it. I want the reverse one. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. I want that one. Okay. Reverse. I'll come to this one also. Again, once again. Okay, just hold on. Int I. Let's see that. Let's see if there is some error or not, because there can be errors. There can be minor bugs. Okay. Let's see if this works or not. Let's say X is a stack. X is a stack of length 5. 5 is the length. Cool. Let's run this one. Let's see if it's working fine. Okay, cool. So X dot push. It's a 10. I push 10. Let's see if this is working or not. Working. Let's check X dot empty. And also, okay, let me first check empty. Empty is 4. See, it was actually 5, but when I pushed it, decremented. Okay. Now let's check full. Is it working? Yeah. One cell has been full. So it's fun. It has been incremented. So like that, X dot push 20. Now let's keep copying this and pasting this. 30, 40, and sorry, 50. Up to this point, everything is cool. Everything is cool. You can, but if I do once again, because I can max put 5 elements, but in case I put something else, I'll get a big bad error. Memory error, stack overflow. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. Okay. Because the size has been exceeded, you cannot do this. Now let's pop. Let's pop. Before that, let's display. Let's see if displays work. Display. See, it's working. Like first I push 10, it's here. Then 20, then 30, then 40, and finally 50. So that's why it's here. Cool. It's working. Now let's pop. Now let's pop. Let's pop. X dot pop. Let's keep on doing this. Let's keep on doing this. Control C. Pop 50, 40, 30, gaya, 40, 20 bhi gaya, 10 bhi gaya. Up to this point, it's all good. It's all good. But now if I do this something else, I'll get another error. Stack underflow. There is nothing to remove, na. How can you remove something if it is not existing at the first place? So we'll get error. So it's perfectly working fine. Here is your stack. Congratulations, you have done it. But it has a problem. I'll come to that. First, let me see if someone has any problem regarding this one. Regarding this stack data structure. Anyone? No one? Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. But there is one major problem happening here. Can anyone tell me what is the problem? If you have the eyes of the eagle, you can locate this. Come on, tell me what is the problem. What do you think? There are no bugs. There are no bugs, but there is a major problem that can destroy, that can destroy the shit out of your program. Tell me what is it? It's looking cool, but there is a problem. Tell me. Okay, I'll count five. I'll count five. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, done. I'll say this. Random insertion. Random insertion. Yeah, right. See, the bad problem is that none of them are private variables. Okay, none of it. Now, if I want something like this, okay, cool. What should be? What should be? Okay, someone's coming. What should be the value of empty and full? Empty should be 4. Empty should be 4. It is x dot full. It should be 1 because there is one element. But I can change this. Boom. And you are dead. Done. There is bug. Now, even if you pop, you are not going to do anything. See, this is a major thing. I mean, there are 5 cells. How can you full like 10,000 cells? It does not exist at the first place. This is a problem, and this is still okay. Let me show you bad problem. Let me show you really bad problem with this one. All cool up to this point. Cool. If I run this, wow, you have your stack data structure. Cool, but look at this. X dot array. I can access this. And the list has other methods also. I can sort it. Log, and you are dead. But dead. Okay. In this case, it was already sorted. Let me just 56, 23, 233, 236. Let's make it 536, and let's make 1. Look at this one. This will be a major problem. If I display this, it's working fine. First comes 56, uske baad 23, then 233, then 536, then 1. Cool. But if I do this, you are dead. Your entire data structure is dead. You are finished. So, what do you need to do? Tell me. How to prevent the access? Of these elements? You can access these elements. What can you do? You can access these things. To restrict the access, you need to use the. Tell me, come on. What is your solution? What can you do? We need to use the double underscore, right. Make that private. But one important thing that I need to discuss. If you do the same thing in your university paper, make out, I'm warning you, they can cut your marks. Unfortunately. I was a victim of this. All right. So with that experience, I can say, if you do these things, you will get error. Instead, do not do these things. Okay. Just say return -1 and all that stuff, the crazy kid stuff. If you do something like this, they might cut your marks. But if you are going to crack interviews like Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, or maybe even TCS, Infosys, whatever you're going to crack, this one is the best one. Because that time we'll be working on a real-time system. So for that purpose, this one is the best one. But for academic purpose, don't do this. Make this private. Make this private. Make this private. All of them are private. Done. Problem solved. Oh, one thing, just put underscore everywhere, okay? Otherwise, this will not work. Underscore, double underscore, I mean. Dunderscore. You call it dunderscore, okay? Not underscore, double underscore, dunderscore. And same goes here also. Underscore, score. Cool. Let's see. Run. Now see what happens. Boom. You get an error because you cannot access it. You cannot access it directly. You'll get an error. So this is how you prevent it. But in this way, you can actually access this. So this is a great way to actually use the private variables. If you use it like this strategically, you can just smash it. Okay, just crazy things. Cool. So you understood why are you going to use private variables and all that stuff. And you can of course put some class variables here, count and all that stuff. But I'm not going to it. I'm not going to it. Understood, guys? Hello. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Our next data structure and the final one, okay, the final one is the queue data structure, the simple one, not the complex one, not some like circular queue or like that, nothing like that. Simple queue. Now if you have the energy, I hope you have the energy, okay, because this is going to take a little bit of time. Queue, should I continue or should I not continue? Tell me, continue or not continue? Come on. Guys, I need an answer. Continue. Okay, cool. That's good. That's good. Keeps the Josh high. Keep the Josh high. Okay. Implementing queue. Again. Before going into the depths of it, before discussing the computer perspective, let me just give you the, okay. One thing. I am really bad at drawing. So just don't judge me for my drawing shit. I'm really bad. Okay. Hands up. I'm bad. But see, this is an example in Kolkata. Many of you are not from Kolkata, but you might still know this. Like UNESCO also has accepted Durga Puja as one of the great festivals. So you should know this, in fact. So Durga Puja is a great festival in Kolkata, right? Right? All of you might agree. We go on hopping pandals, we go on shopping t-shirts and all that stuff, right? But during pandal hopping, there is a line. We all know, the people who live in Kolkata, they know there is a line. We have to in from somewhere else and to go out from some other door or some other gate. So this is basically an example of queue. So this way you enter, this is the pandal, this is the idols, okay, and this is the lion. Okay, anyway, okay, just out of context, leave it. So this is how the people enters the pandal, and this is how the people leave. There are two different gateways, different two gates, okay, one for entering, one for going out. The gate for entering is called the rear, and the gate for going out is called the front. This is the queue data structure. So data comes from rear, data goes out from front. Khatam. Nothing much complex. Do you understand this one? This is queue, simplest queue. Another example. So yeah, this is let's say Inox, okay, and this is a ticket counter. All of them are rushing for tickets. These guys have already purchased the ticket. See, this red thing is the ticket. So they have got the ticket. They are going towards the hall. This guy also has got the ticket. So they are going out from this way. This is the front. This guy is selling tickets, and I am the current one. Once he gives me the ticket, I will go this way, not this way, right? I go this way. Similarly, they are joining the line from this way. So people are coming from the rear, पीछे से आके line में लग रहे हैं, सामने से निकल जा रहे हैं. This is called the rear. This is called the front. Am I clear? I mean, I must be clear. This is commonsensical stuff. Tell me, do you understand? This is queue in practice. Now let me go to the software perspective before actually implementing this. The software perspective is this. Well, I was listening to Spotify, or you can even play music in Ghana and all that stuff. You see, what do you see? Go to queue. This is my queue. Okay. This is the current song I am playing. Once this song is done, this will go out. The new song comes here. And this will keep on playing. The current song is this one. Once this finishes, this will go out. Done. Khatam. Okay. So this is the software perspective. Some another perspective. A ready queue, a waiting queue, scheduling algorithms, all of these you're going to study in operating system. All of these things. And they all have queue. Okay, they all have queue. An amazing thing about this is used in pipelining as well, which is a concept from computer organization and architecture. How multiprocessing works. It is associated with a queue. It is associated with the queue. How scheduling algorithm works, the ready queue, the waiting queue, the pipeline, the multiprocessing, everything uses queue. So these are very, very fundamental data structures that are used. And even, and in fact, you are using it in daily stuffs like Spotify. Spotify is the biggest example, right? Oh, by the way, this is a loop. At this random generator, say all these things are actually in practice. There are times when you might feel that computer science is theoretical, but it's not. It's not. It's everything's almost everything is practical here if you think it the right way. That's what I wanted to say. So this is my queue. So queue is nothing but a list. I can say array. Data can only enter this way. Data can only exit this way. Okay. Whenever the data enters, it is called the NQ. What is called NQ? When the data goes out, it is called the DQ. And this is not the DQ. Okay, this is something else. This is DEQ. Okay, DQ. This means that data goes out. NQ means data comes in. Where the data comes in the rear. From where the data goes out, front. This is the first in first out logic. Whoever enters the queue first will go out. Like for example, like this guy was standing from the very beginning. So this guy will go first, then this guy enters, then this guy enters. तो ये बाद में घुसा तो ये बाद में जाएगा, ये पहले घुसा ये पहले जाएगा. That is the simple logic of this one. This is called the FIFO logic. Cool. So you need to have a list basically. Again, this is all list. This is all list. This is a list basically. Data will insert here. Data will go out here. How will data go out here? Let's say this is my list X. X is something like this, and X has a lot of elements. I want to remove the last element. How can I do it? Pop. Simple. Just pop it out. Last element, right? You're going to remove the last element. Pop it. Whenever you say pop, it will remove from the end. So this is my front. This is my rear. But the tricky question is how to insert data here. Because whenever you say x dot append 10, it will put the data here. But you don't want to do that. You want to put the data over here. For that purpose, you can do something called as x dot insert. Which position do you want to insert? Of course, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So which position do you want to insert? 0th position. And what do you want to insert? Whatever you want to put it here. 20. 20 will come here. Okay. Do not use append for this purpose. Okay. Append will put it to the last. Use this one. This will work. Cool. Now let's implement this. Concept clear, guys? Concept clear, guys? Just let me know if it is clear. Okay. Let's continue. Come on. Let's continue. Okay, now let's create our queue. Simple queue, nothing complex. Okay, I am not going into these, this private variable and stuff. Okay, because it is definitely more complex. Cool. Or well, let's make it private. Who cares? Anyways, class queue. Cool. Same thing. Init self, the size, the length. Okay, the length of the array. Because there is another, there is always a length associated. Yeah, queue also has a length. And if you give more data than that, you will get, well, there's nothing called queue overflow, nothing like that. But you will not accept data. You will say queue is full and you will not accept. That's it. So what you will say is this one, array, self.array is equals to a list, basic a list, self dot empty is equals to length. Why? Because in the very beginning it is all of them are empty, right? Self dot full. In the beginning, all of them are full, none of them are full. So 0. That's it. That's all you need. Same old stuff, same old stuff. Just say def enq. So this is for putting the data at the beginning. Okay. So data can only come here, this part, okay, on the beginning. So you will say enq cool self and the data, of course, data. And what I will say is this: if the same thing, if empty, if self dot empty equal 0, equal 0. Oops. But this means none of them are empty. So where can you insert it? You cannot. You cannot. Raise error. Raise memory error. Memory error. And say Q is full. Let's say this. You cannot say Q overflow. There is nothing like that. Okay. So just Q is full. That's it. And then do your own stuff. Whatever you do. What are you going to do? First insert it. How to insert? Self dot array dot what? Insert at 0th position. That is the first index, comma, whatever the data the user gives you. That's it. Once you are done, self dot empty minus equals to 1, because one of the cell is full, so empty will be reduced. Empty cells are reduced. Self dot full. One cell has been full, so this is increased by 1. Full. Okay. And that's it. Finished. NQ is done. Finally, DQ. DQ. You need the self part. And again, if self dot full is 0, that is at the beginning, none of the cells are full. That will give you actually raise memory error. Q is empty. You are done. And do the same thing. But again, you might have to return it, right? DQ, you will have to return the value. But once you return, you cannot come back. So first do all the decrement, increment stuff, then just return it. So first you decrement these things. Self dot empty. So one cell has been emptied. So that's one. Self dot full. One cell has been emptied. So -1. And then return. What you do to DQ? Just pop it out. Self dot array dot pop. You are done. That's it. And the only thing you need is display. Dev display. Else, just run a loop. You are done. For I in self dot array print I, but there's a problem. This will not look like a queue, because every time you print, it will go to the next line. So for that purpose, you will say end equals to just a space. That's it. So that way you will not get a new line. You will get it in the same line. Okay, looks cool. Any questions? Okay, let's just implement it, then I'll see. Okay. So let's see, there is some y. Y is a q, and the length is 5. Cool. Now let's enqueue something. Y dot enqueue. Let's see if there is some sort of error. And what happened? Enqueue 10. Run this one. Okay, entered. Y dot again enqueue 20. Run. Okay, now just copy it. Copy, paste, paste, paste. 30, 40, and 50. Till this, everything is looks good. And even if I print this one, that y dot display display, I'll get something like this. Hey, it's working. It's working, right? Cool. It's enqueuing. Is it dequeuing? Let's see. If I dequeue this one, y dot dequeue. See, 10 is gone. If I do this once again, we'll see. 20 will be gone. 20 will be gone. Y and boom, 20 is gone. So it's working perfectly fine. Cool. So here is our queue object. Cool. Enqueue done, dequeue done, display also done. So you have understood that queue part, and this again, once again, make it private if you are working on a real system, or else you will be, you understand what will happen if you don't do that. Cool. But for academic purposes, don't do that. Otherwise, they can cut your marks. They can actually, and they do. So that's pretty much it. So you guys understood everything? Hi. All right. So before leaving, just wanted to say is that hope I actually helped you guys, and you have stayed this long, almost 2 hours, 2 minutes, for that much long. So I hope that it was fruitful for you guys. And I am actually starting this data structure class from tomorrow. If someone is interested, just let me know. The class is going to start from tomorrow. And wish you all the best. Do your best in DSA, upcoming DSA, because it's really important for cracking exams, especially the Google exams, all the top 5 big tech exams. These are super important for that. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the day. Before leaving, just give me a feedback over here so that I can see if something went wrong, because I also want to improve day by day, right? So for that purpose, just give me a feedback here. I hope you like the session. You can now leave. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Just give your feedback here, and then you can leave. Okay, so I'm just turning off the screen. I hope I didn't take too much time to explain all these things, because this was important. This was really important. So that's it. You can leave. So you can start leaving, and you can keep your responses. You can keep your feedbacks over here. Linked list. Linked list. Okay. I was initially thinking about linked list, but it's a very lengthy topic. It's a very lengthy topic. So that's why I couldn't cover it in this workshop. That is the reason. I initially thought, yeah, Python has a little different way. Yeah, right. I'll create an object and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll going to teach it in the live class, because it's a very big thing. Okay, thank you, Preeti, thank you. You guys can start leaving. Thank you, Dipanvita. Thank you. It really. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Hello. Okay, cool. So, what I was saying, like, okay, you can leave. I am starting the class from tomorrow. Okay, if you want to contact me, you can contact me. There is a number out there, and I'm really honored that you guys are here. All of us are of the same age, so there's no need to call me sir. And okay, it's really embarrassing, you know. Cool. So I'm just ending the session right now. See you guys. Tada. Bye.